Hi guys, Matt V's Movies back for another video, and today is another Matt's movie review, Halloween special. So yeah, I had the opportunity of watching the latest Exorcist film, The Exorcist Believer. So we're going to talk about it today on the channel. What did I think of this? Let's find out. Welcome back. Okay, so yeah, I had the opportunity to watch The Exorcist the Believer film, which came out earlier this month in the UK on the 6th of October, and it was directed by David Gordon Green. Now, he's the guy that directed the recent trilogy of the Halloween films, Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. And from what I've heard, this is a sort of new trilogy of films focusing on the Exorcist model. Kind of follows on from the original 1973 film. It's a connection to that one. So yeah, so let's just talk a little bit about it first, and then I'll tell you my thoughts on this. So when his daughter Angela and her friend Catherine show signs of demonic possession, it unleashes a chain of events that forces single father Victor Fielding to confront the nadir of evil. Terrified and desperate, he seeks out Chris MacNeil, the only person alive who witnessed anything like it before. So, the cast included Ellen Burstyn as Chris MacNeil. So she was in the very first Exorcist film in 1973. She played the mother of Regan. Olivia O'Neill as Catherine, one of the girls that gets possessed in this film. Lydia Jewett playing Angela Fielding. Leslie Odom Jr. playing Victor Fielding, the father of Angela. Jennifer Nettles as Miranda, the mother of Catherine. Anne Dowd as Anne. Ralph Sabaj as the pastor. E.J. Bonilla as Father Maddox. Okuwu as Okpolowaski, I may have butchered that name, do apologise. Norbert Leo Butts as Tony, and Danny McCarthy as Stuart. So the running time for the film was 1 hour and 51 minutes. It was a certificate 15 in the UK, and it falls under the sort of horror supernatural genre, possession film essentially. So yeah, let's get on to my thoughts on this film. Okay, so I went in with low expectations on this one. I'd heard a few reviews, and to be honest, I heard that it wasn't great. I did hear a couple of positive reviews, saying that they really enjoyed it. But yeah, I decided to go in with low expectations. Now, I must admit my expectations weren't exceeded. I did feel this was very much a run-of-the-mill sort of exorcism film that we've seen so many of. Yes, it did have the character of Regan's mother, played by Ellen Burstyn, returning to the role after many, many years. So it gave it that kind of connectivity to the original. Was she really needed? I'm not really sure, to be honest. It kind of gave the impression that she was sort of contacted by the father and brought back in to sort of see his daughter. And it just seemed very, very quick and very convenient that she was suddenly sort of brought in. He went to search out her. And yeah, I felt very shoehorned in. I would have thought, sort of from the experiences of what happened to her and her daughter all those years ago, personally, I would have thought she'd have sort of kept well away from it, wouldn't want to go near it at all. But actually, quite the opposite in this. her character is sort of believed to be sort of after the events of the original film. She very much then went on to write a book, and then became very interested in the subject, researched all different sorts of religions, almost sort of became kind of like an expert in it herself. And sort of in the early stages of the film, when she goes to meet the daughter, when she goes to meet the daughter Angela Fielding, she's almost pretty much like doing an exorcism on her, which again I kind of felt really, this sort of thing should be done by a priest or priests. Um, and after that sort of happens, something happens to her. I won't say what it is 'cause I don't want to give spoilers away too much in this, but I kind of felt like it was almost, took her in a different direction. And I don't know. I felt up until that point, I felt the film had a good opening. You kind of didn't know what happened to the two girls. They kind of met up, supposedly going on sort of round to one of the girls' houses to do some homework. But then it turned out both parents thought each girl was at the other house, but actually they'd gone off into the woods, um, and they'd gone missing for several days. I think it was 3 days. And this kind of built up a bit of a mystery as to what was going on, and it had a good opening, sort of with the death of Angela's mother and sort of all the goings on there. So it had a good promising start, but I sort of felt once the Ellen Burstyn's character came into it, it kind of started to go a bit downhill for me. I felt it wasn't necessary for her to be in it. I quite like the idea of the sort of the dual possession, a little bit different. But was it well executed? Yes and no. Some of the effects were quite good. The possessions, very much a formulaic sort of thing that we've seen before. Nothing really new. As I say, the only thing that kind of was a bit different was the dual sort of possessions. But it had nowhere near the impact of the original. I can remember sort of going to see the original at the cinema and being quite shocked at how Regan was having all these experiments on her to sort of find out what was going on. Yes, Angela was put in hospital, and Catherine wasn't. Catherine stayed at home, although um, they seemed to be sort of at a similar point of possession. So I didn't quite sort of understand that really. Why would one be in a hospital, the other one wasn't? Maybe just different parenting and the way they wanted to deal with it. I don't know. But it just felt a bit shoehorned together to me. Sort of towards the end of the film, there's the typical sort of bringing of the two children together, and the sort of formulaic sort of exorcism that happens. I mean, it did happen with a group of people this time. I don't want to sort of spoil the ending and sort of say what happened, but you can imagine the kind of formula that you'd get in this kind of film. They pretty much run a similar sort of format. I don't know. I felt like I'd seen it all before. Did this need to be made? I'm not so sure, to be honest. I think they're just living off nostalgia. I believe this director has done this with the Halloween films. Has obviously brought back that nostalgia from the original John Carpenter films, and they're obviously trying to do it here with The Exorcist. Now, at the ending of the film, you can see where it's going. It's going to be apparently a sequel if this film does well enough. Again, I'm not going to say how it ends, but there is a character that comes into it which you kind of think, right, okay, I can see where this is going. But for me, I don't know. If I was rating this out of 5, I would give it a sort of 2.5 out of 5. Very middle of the road, nothing amazing. Yeah, very predictable in what it did. I don't know, I just feel it's kind of just trying to live off the nostalgia of the original. I don't think you can ever sort of match the original film. Still to this day, it's quite a sort of disturbing watch. Probably one of the greatest horror films ever made. And to live off that success and try to recreate something, I don't know, it just doesn't quite sit right with me. I just feel like it's an unnecessary cash in, didn't really need to be made, and yeah, just a very average possession film. If it didn't have the Ellen Burstyn character in it, you could kind of just call it whatever, and you know, yeah, it wouldn't be anything special. Yeah, it's nice to have that little connection in there. Was it needed? Probably not. But if, as I say, if this does okay, then we'll continue the story. So yeah, let's see what happens. But yeah, for me, not that brilliant. But what did you think? Yeah, be interested to hear your thoughts in the comments. Did you enjoy this film? Or are you thinking about going and seeing it? Yeah, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you like these sorts of reviews, please give us a thumbs up. That really does help out the channel. And if you're new here and you like these sort of movie reviews, why not consider subscribing to the channel? I've got a wealth of content. I do movie reviews now and again, not many, but I also do unboxings, out and about trips now and again, and also do sort of detailed look at my collection as well. Currently I'm doing sort of a DVD collection parts, and you can see I've got a wealth of playlists, so if you go in there and you can find sort of different videos, you know, that you may enjoy. Right guys, well that's the end of the video. Take care and see you in the next one. Bye now.